What's up, weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here, up at Bert's Barracuda here in Pinellas Park, and you guys know what I usually do when I get here. There's a lot of Harley iron on the floor, but I usually go straight and try to find the cheapest bike I can, which is usually in their used metric section, something a lot of Harley-Davidson dealerships don't actually keep around. But we're doing something a little bit different today, a little bit extra. You'll see how much extra here in a little bit, 3 extra in fact. And we're not just going Japanese or European like we usually do with the used bikes that get traded in on Harleys here. In fact, all 3 were made in North America, but we're going Japanese, American, and Canadian. Let's go check it out. Yeah, when I said 3 extra, they got 3 wheels and we're doing 3 of them. Everyone knows that Harley sells new trikes, but they take a lot in trade too. These 2 are used Harleys over here, although I will be honest, the first one that caught my eye is this GL 1500 over here, which I'm sure got traded in on a new Harley, but GL 1500s never really die, do they? And of course, something I've never ridden at all that's extra different. Can-Am, I think it's the Spider. Am I wrong? I think they're made in Canada. I might have gotten that totally wrong. I know almost nothing about these bikes except the people who love them really love them. I guess this guy didn't love enough to not trade it in on a Harley, but anyway, I know that people love them. This one was owned by a Vietnam veteran. I'm excited to try it out because I've never ridden one before. Yeah, let's go ahead and start with Mr. Worldwide over here. The Tri-Glide. I don't know if Harley came out with the very first trike, but they certainly popularized it, not only with the Tri-Glide, but all the way back in the day with the Harley Cervicar, which is why you see so many flatheads around still, because even though you got to sell a kidney for a panhead, you can usually pick up a flathead pretty damn cheap because they made them in the Cervicars, I think all the way through the 70s. But let's talk about this Tri-Glide right now. I think the biggest question people usually have about trikes is what it's like to ride them. Does it still feel like a motorcycle? And when to actually make the choice to get on a trike. Now, I know there's plenty of people who make a choice to ride a trike way before they're old, or maybe you've had an injury, or maybe you have gotten old and you can't hold up a big bike anymore. Maybe you just want to be on 3 wheels. I ain't here to judge. I will tell you this though, anybody who does judge someone who's on a trike, no matter what the reason that they're on a trike for, you got your knees in the breeze, same as everybody else. I think that's a crock of shit. And especially one like this that looks good, it sounds good. Now, would I choose to ride a trike? No. Am I going to judge somebody on a trike? Absolutely not, man. You can ride side by side. Well, maybe not exactly side by side with me. I think we might take up too much space, but you get my drift. I'd ride with anybody on a trike. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. I was calling it Mr. Worldwide because of the pit bull on the back, though I see stilettos on steel sticker on the front, so I got to assume this belonged to a woman. That will probably be another question that people get about trikes a lot is, are they hard to ride? I wouldn't say they're hard to ride. I would say that they're different to ride than a motorcycle. Obviously, you steer them, you don't lean, but as far as hard to ride, no. Anybody could ride a trike. It's not a matter of strength. They're not, even though they are much heavier than a motorcycle, you don't have to be super strong to get one around. So even if the reason that you're on a trike is because some sort of muscular disease or something like that, where you've lost a lot of strength even in your arms and legs, that's a reason to get on a trike too, where you can't muscle around a big bike at low speeds anymore. These things are super low effort to ride, though definitely different from a motorcycle. It takes its own set of skills. I keep talking about the skills, the different skills it takes to ride a trike versus riding a motorcycle. I know they exist. I'm not saying I have them, okay? All right, I imagine you probably get on this. Yep, just like that. Always feels a little weird to get on a motorcycle like that, but because you don't put your feet down, that's the thing you got to remember right away. So yeah, specific skills it takes to ride a trike. I'm not saying I have them. I've only ridden a couple. I just know it's different, okay? And that's the number one right there, is you steer it, you don't lean it. And if you try to have that same kind of input on the handlebars as you do on a motorcycle, you will end up kind of wobbling around like that. Not that it's super dangerous, but you got to get used to it right out of the rip. Oh, there I go, putting my feet down. I almost can't stop myself. It's hard too, because sitting here looking forward, sitting here looking forward and listening to it, you wouldn't know that you're not on a twin cam street glide. As far as you're concerned, looking forward, baby, you're on two wheels, man. So it can be easy to forget and want to put your foot down. It's not like you're out there constantly reminded that you're on a trike. If that's something that bothers you. Personally, I don't think that should be something that bothers you. You're still out with your knees in the breeze, baby. I still dig it. I would certainly ride a trike before I didn't ride. That's for damn sure. Woo-hoo! Especially when it sounds like that. Damn, dude, this thing sounds good. Dude, they had some friggin' pipes on this, man. Whatever lady owned this was... Dude, she was not messing around, dude. This thing sounds good. And it doesn't take more than like a quarter mile, and you're used to it already, though. I gotta sit here and physically remind myself and say, do not lean, steer, and don't even think about putting your feet down. And if you just remember to do that, baby, you fine. Woo! Oh, that's all right, baby. Yeah, people who are hating on trikes saying, oh, it's not a motorcycle, or it's not this, or it's not that. Bro, I don't care who you are. If you can't have fun on a trike, you don't know how to have fun, baby. I can have fun on a trike. Trust me. Hey, look at that. Didn't even put my feet down that time. Dude, this thing sounds freaking awesome. What's weird is they feel weird coming off a motorcycle, the way they handle. It feels like you're doing something wrong, but I promise you, you're not. They're stable. If you try hard enough, you can flip one, that's for damn sure. But if you try hard enough to wreck a motorcycle, you're going to do that too. Just like every motorcycle is different, where you get out of shape on this thing, flip it over, or wreck it, it's going to be different on every bike, just like it's different on every motorcycle when you're leaning into a turn. Is it any easier or any harder to wreck a trike in a turn than it is to wreck a motorcycle? Honestly, I don't know. I guess that depends on the person too. I know a few good old boys out there don't have a hard time wrecking just about anything, no matter how many damn wheels it has on it. You got to remember that automatic counter steer. I just did it back there when I was about to change lanes, and I went to kind of pull on my left handlebar to change lanes. That is not what you do. No more counter steering, just regular old steering. A lot of people would worry, like, I don't know if I'd be able to go back and forth. I don't know if I'd be able to handle both of them. Like, come on, man. Woo! Raymond speed, baby! Dude, this thing kind of rips! Who says you can't be a hooligan on a trike? I beg to differ, baby. You could go to jail on a trike real easy. Hey, you could be an asshole on anything, all right? And if you have trouble going back and forth, I don't know, man. I'll swap back and forth between a left hand shift, hand clutch motorcycle, a foot clutch hand shift motorcycle, and a right hand shift, left hand brake motorcycle without a problem. It's not that weird to jump on a trike and switch back and forth if you still got a regular bike and you still got a trike. Just building up the muscle memory to remember that you're on the trike and you'll be just fine. So if you're worried about it, I would say this. After a mile, you won't even be thinking about it anymore. Your body knows what to do. What's the cool thing about trikes, though? If the fuzz goes by and you're on a trike, hey, you just look like a dues-paying member of the Law-Abiding Citizens Club, okay? Just out here for a little put on my trike. I wouldn't possibly be doing any sort of hooligan activity, bouncing it off the rev limiter and hauling ass. Who, me? On a trike? I would never. Talk about flying under the radar. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Now, this is a 103 twin cam, so we'll say this. It's not setting any speed records, that's for sure. But it's got enough shit and to get out of its own way and make me smile anyway. But underneath, it's still a Harley, so anything that you can do to another twin cam, any hop-up parts, cams, big bore kits, heads, exhausts, anything like that, well, that can be done to this motor. So when it comes to making a trike fast, maybe you can make them as fast as you want. Yeah, I dig it. I ain't ready for a trike yet, but when I am ready, I ain't gonna be crying about it. I'm gonna be having too much fun instead. Alright, one more rip on the trike line. Woo! Yeah, I like that, alright. This thing sounds good, dude. Yeah, old girl had this thing meant business, baby. If you can't have fun on a trike, you don't know how to have fun. I'll say it again. But then, I ain't ever been scared of having fun. Alright, let's see. Oh, put my foot down again. Let's see how this reverse works. I assume that's on. Oh, shoot. That works! That's for dang sure. I would say the reverse definitely be prepared for it versus a Goldwing reverse, okay? Okay, once it starts going, now we're just, now we're pretty normal, but, well, it kicks in pretty good. The Goldwing trike, the GL 1500. Now, I know people are going to be split. Either they're going to think this is the lamest thing since ankle-high socks, or they're going to think it's way better than the Harley Davidson. Goldwing guys, whether it's a trike or not, they're a different breed. Now, trust me, I am a Goldwing guy, and I love my GL 1500 very, very much. You'll pry it from my cold, dead hands. So I will wax poetic just a little bit about how awesome GL 1500s are specifically. They are made in America by American hands. This flat six, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest engines ever put in a motorcycle. Now, is it the most exciting engine? Is it gonna make you pitch a tent when you crack the throttle wide open and see a big old pair of knockers bouncing down the street? That I couldn't tell you. I guess that'll be up to you and how excitable of a boy you are. Goldwings are a little plain, but that's part of the allure to me. I like riding something that's so dependable, so plain, so normal, so milquetoast, and then I just make it as weird as I possibly can. A lot of Goldwing owners are on my side and they do the same thing, and all those other Goldwing owners, they usually don't sit at our table. Now, I have actually ridden a Goldwing trike before, but the Goldwing trike that I rode was an actual conversion, a real trike. This one has just extra wheels on it, so theoretically you could take these off and make it a regular motorcycle again. These aren't drive wheels. The drive wheel is still the rear wheel, and I've never ridden a trike that was set up like this before, so I'm actually very curious to see how it handles compared to the Harley Davidson, which was a true trike. And also, since it's not a full conversion, it just has these wheels added onto it, and it's a GL 1500, meaning it was made somewhere in between 1988 and 2000, and gonna go ahead and guess closer to 2000 because it looks really nice. It also means that it's gonna be the cheapest way here to get into a trike if you want one. Certainly starts with a lot less drama than the Harley Davidson does. Though theoretically, this should be faster than that 103. It makes more horsepower. I would say there's not much to say about Goldwings because I put so many miles on Goldwings on my channel, but you know, my Goldwing, most of my miles have been put on it with only a single carburetor working. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound faster than the Harley, but it is. Obviously, you got that big thrust of V-twin torque right off the line, but these flat sixes will not be denied, dude. They scoot, especially when they're working with two working carburetors and not just one. What's funny is that most Goldwing trikes probably spend the vast amount of their time putting around like exactly what you think a Goldwing would do, but there ain't no reason you gotta ride any Goldwing like that. A lot of people don't like the exhaust note. I actually love the exhaust note because it reminds me of a Porsche 911, and if I won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be an air-cooled Porsche 911 size sign, and you crack a Goldwing wide open and that's what it sounds like to me. This thing freaking moves, dude. And once again, just sitting here in the driver's seat, if you're used to riding a Goldwing, you don't even know that stuff is back there. I think most of the people who are scared about getting on a trike are just really mostly worried about not having as much fun. Well, I've just demonstrated, trust me, you can have just as much fun. You can be a hoon on a trike just like anything else. And I think the other people are worried about looking stupid. And if you're worried about looking stupid on a motorcycle, I don't know what to tell you. You should be worried about pleasing yourself. Just like like I say, whenever I take a new lucky lady home, I pull out the old hog. She takes a look and says, "Who do you think you're gonna please with that thing?" And I say, "Me, baby. Now bend over and smile." Hey, I don't think it handles as good as the Harley does. Now, I don't know if that's just for Goldwing reasons or that's because it's got an add-on trike kit instead of one that was designed to be a trike. That I couldn't tell you, man, but it doesn't handle horrible. It just definitely doesn't handle as good as the Harley does. It's also a much older motorcycle. The Harley was pretty dang new, even though it was a twin cam, not a Milwaukee 8. I guess you can figure out what year, I guess it probably says what year it is. It's a 2000. Damn, dude, this is the last year GL 1500. That explains why it's in such good condition, man. Goldwing guys, they baby their bikes. Well, either they baby them or they treat them like an absolute pile of dirt. They feed them like they owe money. Even if you haven't seen my videos, just from the way I'm talking, you could probably guess which camp I fall into. Now, just because I regularly be taking my Goldwing to Fist City doesn't mean I don't love my Goldwing. Of course I love my Goldwings. I always love Goldwings. Just, my love hurts, all right? Be it man or machine, when the gaze of my baleful eye wanders over something and I have lust in my heart, either one usually finds themselves quaking in their boots. I'll just take it as a compliment. This thing feels like it's got just like the slight amount of wander, but nothing really that bad. I'm really guessing that it's because of the way this trike kit is assembled on it, but again, I would get used to it after a few miles. In fact, just sitting here at 70 miles an hour for a while, I'm already not thinking about it anymore. Because my cupped ass tire, freaking bad neck bearing, squared off rear Goldwing, it wanders just as much as this thing does with two wheels. Bro, you're gonna feel the whole thing freaking flex up like it's a Peterbilt when you get on it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it, but I think that the Harley Davidson will probably get my pick over the Wing this time, which is rare for me to say, trust me. Which is always funny to me because depending on which video you click on that I've put out, people are either bitching that I always ride Harley Davidson or complaining that I always ride Hondas. Honda, Harley, anything in between, 2 wheels or 3, baby. Woohoo! I just like bike. Dude, it freaking pulled the front wheel up. And you ain't gotta worry about merging on this thing. The Goldwing trike ripping wheelies. You gotta love it, baby. The Goldwing trike, not exactly a canyon carver, but boy, it goes in a straight line, don't it? Not normally something you say about a Goldwing versus a Harley. All right, let's go ahead and park the Tri-Wang and ride the bike that arguably I'm the most excited to ride and the most trepidatious to ride. Bummer, the Can-Am had a dead battery, so I don't get to ride it today. Dead batteries happen, especially at the dealership where the motorcycles don't always get ridden every single day. Next time I come out here, I'm sure they'll have a charge on it and I'll finally get to experience what the Can-Am is like. One of the reasons I was very excited about riding it, you'll remember a regular on the channel, Foxglove. We haven't seen Foxglove on the channel for a little while because she was in a pretty horrific, life-changing motorcycle accident in which she lost one of her legs above the knee. I don't really talk about it on the channel too much because that's her story to tell. If you're following her on Instagram, I'll have a link down below. She does have a private page, so I can't guarantee she'll accept you. If you're following her on Instagram, you can follow along in her journey as she gets back, not on 2 wheels, but on 3 wheels. She just got herself a Can-Am, and she's been ripping it up on that thing. You love to see it. We love to have her back. She has an absolutely amazing story coming back from near death. She actually died several times, but again, that's her story to tell. So if you can get in on the Instagram, she'll be able to tell it to you there, but no guarantees. Anyway, we got to have a third bike, even though this isn't starting. We gotta ride something. Let's find something to fill the gap. Well, this one is about as far away from a trike as you can get. Well, I don't know if as far away as you can get, but I don't think there's any Sportster-S trikes as of yet. I could be wrong. People built lots of things. Maybe it exists. Is there Rule 34 of Sportster-S's? Have they made this into a trike yet? I don't know. But since that Can-Am had a dead battery and I like to do things in threes, I don't want to leave here without test riding another bike. So I'm just going to test ride something that I really want to ride, and just so happens that I have a used Sportster-S on the lot, and I haven't ridden one of these in a really long time, and I'm kind of excited to see if it's as good as I remember it. Yeah, some of you guys might remember we had a Sportster-S on the channel before. Short-lived, but we did. Now, those of you with a keen memory for Brapstar lore will remember that it was mainly Cammy Bay who did the riding around on that Sportster-S, and we happened to have got it from Blockhead. Yeah, that feels familiar. Oh yeah, okay. The Sportster S is as fast as I remember. These things, it's wild that they put the Sportster name on them. To me, it's nothing like a Sportster. I guess maybe the Sportster back in the day was a pretty sporty bike, and this is a sporty bike. Just compared to the Evo Sportster, they got nothing in common, man. This thing is a straight up ripper. And Evo Sporties, they can be rippers. Don't get me wrong, they can be rippers, but it's not exactly what I call a speed demon out of the gate like this thing is. Well, back to Cami Bay and her Sportster S. If you guys remember, on Cami Bay's YouTube channel, her most popular video, clocking it in well over 1 million views, was her riding the Sportster S somewhere in Mexico, of course, at a high rate of speed and experiencing a wardrobe malfunction. Now, if you know, you know, and you saw the whole uncut and unedited video, you got it directly from Cami Bay herself, somewhere else. Well, shortly after that, the Sportster ended up somewhere else too, because Blockhead asked for it back. Now, he said it didn't have anything to do with the wardrobe malfunction and the subsequent photo shoot that we took on it, but hey, I don't know, the jury's still out on that one. Either way, I still dig me a Sportster S, man. This is a badass bike. A lot of people say it ain't a Harley or it's nothing like a Harley, but something doesn't have to be like a Harley for me to like it. No, it doesn't feel much like a Harley, but I still really like it. Like it enough that I should probably park it. And even though I really do like it, and that speed, dude, the way these things accelerate is something else. I think I like the look of the 975 better with the twin rear shocks like that. I know they're basically the same motorcycle besides the swing arm and, you know, a slightly smaller displacement engine, but I think I like the looks of this motorcycle better. Why don't they just make this with a 12-50? Well, knowing Harley, they probably will, isn't it? They just release the big engine in the special edition, and then later on we'll get like the traditional forks, traditional shocks, looks more like a regular motorcycle instead of a futuristic tractor. We'll get this with the 1250 engine. Now this with the 1250 engine, that would be badass. Well, if the not a Harley Sportster S or Trikes aren't your thing, trust me, they got everything and in between up here at Berts, from used Road Kings. I think this was the best deal on the lot right here, all the way to a bunch of brand new stuff inside. In fact, I want to show you that. They actually opened up a paint shop here and they got custom painted stuff on the floor now too. I'll tell you, it's been a while since Harley Davidson made a purple bike, and they still don't make a purple bike, but when Bert's paint shop gets a hold of it, they make a purple CVO. I always kind of like it when someone makes a custom paint job on a CVO still look like a CVO paint job. They also did this green one over here, and some things never go out of style. I think the Harley Breakout kind of took the place of the Wide Glide, so I don't know if you can still get a factory flame paint job anymore, but even if you can't, you can get a factory flame paint job at Berts, which is pretty cool. Even though when it comes to actual factory paint jobs, dude, usually Harley's a day late and $1 short with what's cool, but they were right on the money with this Maximum Brown over here. That's gonna about do it for this one, y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging out. And if you're around here, even if you aren't, because if you buy a bike from Berts, they will actually fly you in here and put you up in a hotel so you can ride that motorcycle home. Now you gotta call up and ask for Gunner to get that deal, but if you wanna fly in, buy your motorcycle and ride it home, they'll pay for the plane ticket down here to do it. But again, if you live in the area, there's always a party going on up here. Me and Shayleese here are hanging out all the time, and they got a whole lot of metal on the floor. But just one more thing before we go. Now, normally I say, let's get out of here before anything ends up coming home with us, but we didn't quite make it away clean this time. Well, if you've been paying attention to the Berts vids, you'll know that I actually did a video that featured that little Sportster chopper back there a while back on cheapest bikes I could find there. It was one of the cheapest bikes on the floor. Even back then, obviously, I was tempted to take it home, but I'm always tempted to take motorcycles home. I don't actually own this bike. That's not why I have it here. You see, after Bert watched the video, he said, that is kind of a cool little bike. I think I'm gonna donate it to Bert's Salute to America, and we're gonna make it part of the raffle for the 135 cubic inch Road Glide, supercharged Road Glide that Blockhead Garage is building. We're giving away raffle tickets for that is down below. 100% of those proceeds go to benefit veterans who are homeless, to bridge the gap, give them an address, helping our veterans in this country Tree who are most at need and most at risk. And Bert said, you know what? We're gonna give that bike away too. So this is gonna be a mid-season giveaway, but before he gave it away, obviously he wanted it completely gone through. Turns out it's got slightly low compression in one of the cylinders. It still rides around fine, but Bert said, you know what? I just don't feel good giving a bike away that has slightly low compression in one of the cylinders. Don't want to do that. Now, selling it on the floor, they don't usually do compression tests because these bikes are sold as is. So that's not that weird, but giving it away, he goes, I want it to be right. So he said, we're not going to give it away. But he goes, Shade Tree, if you want to take it home and do some stuff to it, which I very much do want to do some stuff to it, he says, you can go right ahead and we're still going to give it away. So you say what you'd like to see done to it, but I'll tell you right now, one thing that's happening for sure, it was an 883, low compression in one cylinder. It's going to be a 1200 or a 1250 without a doubt. I'm also thinking about slapping a Springer front end on it. A couple other little things. You let me know down below what you'd like to see happen to this motorcycle back there. And guess what? I'm not doing that because I'm keeping it. We're still giving it away. Not only that, but since this one had the low compression, Bert goes, hey, I already decided I'm giving a Sportster away. Stay tuned for a different video when we introduce another Sportster that he's going to give away on the day that the 135 Road Glide that Blockhead is building is revealed. We're going to pull a winner for that bike from the pool of tickets that have been bought for the Road Glide on the day of that reveal. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you got notifications on. Go subscribe to my man Blockhead. He's releasing videos on the 135 right now. And make sure you click the link down below to grab your ticket. We're giving away 3 fishing trips. We're giving away a custom paint job and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. And of course, at the end of the day, it's not about the prizes, even though the prizes are pretty awesome. What it's really about, being a bad person doing a good thing and supporting our veterans. That's gonna about do it for this one, y'all. Until next time, keep it weird.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shade Tree, Army! Shade Tree, Army! Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shade Tree, Army! Shade Tree, Army! Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, panic spreading far and wide. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Shade Tree, Army! Shade Tree, Army! Who will risk it all to end the evil call of Shade Tree, Army! Shade Tree, Army! They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. Shade Tree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.